I need to own a thing. I don't care what the thing is because you want to show off. I am not funding your flex. I'm not funding that for you. Because he cares about having the thing. Whenever somebody comes up to you and you're wearing, and they're like, guess how much I paid for this shirt? Or guess how much I paid for these sunglasses? You know they're asking because they want you to think that they have it. Like if that's the way he's behaving, then I don't know what is his motive to get a particular car or a particular piece of land. So he can say, oh, look, I made it. Like I have this thing. But he knows that it's not necessarily a good investment.
What is going on, people? We are back again with another MovingMAD video. And this one right here, all about Daniele and Yohan. And you know, when it comes to Yohan, he is a very interesting person. And I don't mean that in a good way. I mean that in a very bad way. Yohan, since we have seen him, all he's ever expressed is that he is the man of the house, he's the head of the table, and Daniele should obey him. But never, ever, ever in that timeline has he ever represented or shown traits of him being the man. And I say that because every step of the way that involves finances, Daniele's the one that's always happened to be the one to, you know, pay. And it is so sad and so frustrating because how can I be sitting here watching a guy claiming to be the man, claiming to be the head of the table, but yet he does nothing to actually be that role? We live in a world where we all have a certain perspective of what a man's role should be and what a woman's role should be. Everybody has a different level of it, but generally speaking, the foundation is usually the same. And usually the foundation is that the man is the one that's predominantly going to be the one that is I don't want to use the word breadwinner. He's the one that's going to have this, he's the one that's going to bring this financial stability to a woman's life. Even if she has her own financial stability, he's also going to bring that as well. The reason why that is key is because you see, there's a point in life where a woman will get pregnant. And when a woman gets pregnant and then she also from maternity, her pay will get cut, if anything. So of course, this is when the man will step up to be the financial support. Now, also on top of that, the man will also be financial support in other ways as well. Okay, but either way, though, generally speaking, we are now dealing in a world where we are watching Yohan, a man that says he wants to be the head of the table. Okay, but at the same time, he can't be the head of the table because he doesn't bring no finances to the table. But also on top of that, he's saying that he also wants to have a child, but yet he cannot provide for his child. And that's another bone that I got to pick with many women in this world. Why are women consistently having children with men that cannot financially support them before the child even exists, but then will still have a child even though that man is still in and out of jobs or all this kind of stuff? Because like I said before, the way it may begin in a relationship, it may begin equally financial, given that you're both working. But understand that once a child comes, there's going to be a point where the man is going to be that person. And when I say when the child comes, I'm not talking about just like a few months of where you're being the breadwinner. There's the potential you may even be a few years, because some people like it when the woman ends up being at home with the child all the time and they can go off and do something, depending on who you are. But again, this is the issue that I have here. Why are we sitting here watching Yohan asking to have a freaking kid when he can't freaking financially provide? But also at the same time, why is Daniele even thinking about having a child with this guy when he cannot financially freaking provide? Are you getting my point?
Tú querías vivir aquí, tú dices que aquí vamos a estar bien, que no van a necesitar de nada, tu cuarto rinde más, yo no veo ningún eso. A mí tú no me estás manteniendo.
I think that Yohan is confused about what he's paying for because he hands me cash for half of the rent and I then wire that money from my bank account and use Yohan's cash to pay for other things.
So Yohan believes that because they are living in his country, Daniele should be the one that is paying for everything and should be supporting him. It's funny though, because, you know, even if they move to the States, there's no way you can tell me that he would then be expecting himself to be the one that's financially responsible for him and Daniele. That is a lie. It doesn't matter where you two live, you're always going to expect Daniele to be the one that's going to look after you financially. You're always going to expect Daniele to be the one that looks after you and your child that you guys are trying to have ridiculous financially. And if from my understanding, because Yohan gives Daniele a little bit of money to help with rent, obviously she puts that in a certain way, and then obviously when they're out and about, she spends it, and it makes him think that just because he's giving her money that he's now the one looking after her. I mean, like, yo, is Yohan actually stupid though? That's what I want to know. I want to know, is he actually stupid? Like, is there something missing in his brain? I genuinely feel like there's something going on in his brain that is like, is there a missing link or something? Because the way he behaves is very suspect. Like, yo, can somebody make sense out of this, please? Because honestly, you can't be this stupid. You can't be this naive. I mean, trust me, I want to use another word for him, but I can't use that word. Not because it's YouTube, just because people get sensitive about it, to be honest with you. Once upon a time, we could use the word like it's nothing. Everyone would be like, yeah. And nowadays, you use it, people are like, what? You can't say that anymore. You can't say that word. But if you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. That's exactly who I think he is, because the way he behaves like that, and it's very, very concerning if you ask me personally. But at the end of the day, their relationship is just freaking annoying. It's frustrating.
Man, you don't feel like you should have to pay for anything because we live here. I can live anywhere in the world. I have a year-long lease in my apartment. I don't need you to live there. I can live there alone.
Entonces, ¿para qué tú estás conmigo? ¿Qué yo tengo? Nada. No tengo un apartamento, no tengo un vehículo, no tengo nada. Hijo, tú no puedes dar hijo natural.
Equal partner punishing me because I can't have a child. Like, if any one of those individual things, ever happened in one of my friends' relationship, I would be like, get out.
I don't even know why Yohan still does these little weak-ass threats about why you with me then. We all know you're not going to leave her. So just be quiet. Stop doing that. That's just so annoying and so manipulative. But let's move on to something more serious. So we all know that Danielle cannot necessarily have a child naturally, or at least it's going to be hard for her because of her age. And he knows this, but yet he pretends as if he doesn't know this, and therefore he insults her by saying, "You can't even give me a child naturally." Complains about, "I have a wife and I have a wife, but yet I still have nothing." What is that supposed to mean? In reality, it should be like, "I have a husband and I have nothing." In reality, right? But either way, there is still that fine line where I have a wife, I have a husband, and we should have something. It should never be we have nothing between us. But either way, the way he sat there and talked about how he has nothing financially, he has nothing that he owns, and then had the audacity to sit there and be like, "You can't give me a child naturally." Was there any need for that? Wow, that hurt to watch. That hurt to listen to.
Okay, you don't deserve it. You don't deserve anything from me. Nothing. So, that's it.
¿Qué tú dices?
Do you understand the word relationship that you want?
De esta relación.
Yeah, because this is not the relationship that I want.
Mandemos esta ya, y punto, y se acabó.
It's funny, isn't it? When people get married, there are vows that people take. Is it vows? Listen, I ain't been married yet. You know what I mean? Like, when people get married and you do the whole vows, and the priest says something about, into sickness, into health, and all them kind of lines. Yeah. Here's the thing, those lines don't matter no more. They really don't matter anymore. Like, I can't imagine how high the divorce rates are nowadays. Like, people out here are getting married for sport, getting divorced for sport, and it's sad. A lot of people are going into commitments, and spend a lot of money on weddings and all that kind of stuff, and rings, the whole shebang. And for what? For what? Because we watch a show, we are watching a show called 90 Day Fiancé, where we are meant to be experiencing people who are meant to be getting married for the greater good, People who are meant to get married and then stay together forever. They're meant to go through all the challenges of what a marriage brings, and they're meant to overcome it, But nowadays, we are in a world where a lot of people are just quitting. People are very quick to throw in the "I quit" towel, Like a boxing ring, you know what I mean? When you've taken enough punches, boom, you throw in the towel. Now, of course, in some situations, some marriages definitely have had a shadow of a doubt. And then in some situations, some marriages shouldn't happen point blank, period. There's also that one too, right? Which is pretty much 90 Day Fiancé. The whole idea of seeing a relationship before they decide to actually get married. And the saddest thing about 90 Day Fiancé is that most of the time, these people actually end up getting married. And it doesn't really make any sense, you know what I mean, for the most part. But either way, though, the whole idea is to be able to see all the red flags, judge whether or not it is worth being together or not. And it is very jarring, very annoying that we are seeing couples who we know shouldn't be together, but they keep coming back together, and you're sitting there thinking, why? Why? Because Yohan's always very quick to say, "You know what, well, we're done then, we're out." Danielle sat there and said that if this was any one of my friends, I'll tell them to leave the relationship. Now, respectfully, she has every right to leave this relationship, because the way he has gone about this situation is absolutely disgusting and appalling, and no woman should be spoken to in that way. Neither any man, neither, you know what I mean? But in this type of context here, no woman should ever be put down because she can't give a man a child naturally. Do you know what I mean? To be honest with you, in today's society, we should be privileged that there are more than one ways of having children. For those people that really want to have children, at least be privileged that there's more than one way of having children. Or there wasn't any other way. And obviously time has evolved so much, because we went from before, the only way you can have a child is if a woman got pregnant. And then I believe after that, I think then adoption became a thing. I'm not too sure. And then fostering became a thing somewhere down the line. Now, I don't know if we want to include that, but I'm going to put that in there anyway. And then obviously we've gone through the process, but now we have IVFs, I think. This isn't my area of expertise, okay? But I just know that there are newer things that helps people be able to have children. Surrogacy is another one, do you know what I mean? So it's so sad that nowadays there are opportunities that have been made for women to now have, well, for relationships to now have children if the woman's unable to have children. So therefore, we should no longer be in a position where a man can sit there and put down a woman just because she can't have a child. And do you know what? Though, let's talk about this real quick. Like, should your relationship with someone be determined on the fact that you can or can't have children? I mean, for me personally, you know, if I'm with somebody now and I know this person's my person and we can't have children, I don't care. You're gonna be that person because that is my person. If you make me feel like no other person, no other woman has ever made me feel in my life, why the hell am I not gonna be with you because we can't have kids? That doesn't make any sense. I personally think that I personally think that people that break up because they can't have kids is one of the most stupid things to do, because what happens is that when people end up breaking up with that person, when they do end up finding someone to have kids with, they end up being with somebody who doesn't make them happy as the person before. And then in some situations, those people then end up becoming single parents, and then therefore that creates broken homes. I wouldn't be surprised if a certain population of this world has broken homes purely because people are leaving relationships to get pregnant with somebody else just because the other person couldn't do it. Even though they know the person that they couldn't do it was the person that actually made them more happy than they've ever been in their life. And then they live a life of just being miserable. You see what I'm saying? I'm just saying, personally, for me, I don't think a child should be the defining factor of whether you should be with someone or not. I mean, don't get me wrong, if you have a conversation at the very beginning, fair enough, but either way, though, sometimes in life things happen to ourselves that stops us being able to have children. Do you know what I mean? If that happens, you should just accept it, you know? But like I said before, there are still other options out there to be able to have children that don't involve leaving the person that actually loves you for somebody else who may not love you the same and have a child, and then it's a broken home. Do you see what I'm saying? You might as well go through other phases where you can do surrogacy or adoption or whatever it could be. Do you know what I mean? But that's just my opinion on the matter. I'm not saying that it's factual. I'm just saying that I'm sick and tired of seeing too many people having children with the wrong people, and seeing too many children coming up from broken homes, and then seeing too many men and women in this world who become single parents. You know, and it's disgusting, absolutely disgusting. Which is probably why I guess nowadays we live in a world where everybody finds it very easy to quit. If you come from a broken home like myself, actually, no, yeah, I do, yeah. But like myself in particular, technically, I can find it very easy to walk away from a relationship because I'm a product of that environment. You see what I'm saying? Doesn't mean I will, but I could. You see what I'm saying? Anyway, that's a whole deeper conversation. You guys let me know what you're thinking, and we'll talk about it.